Let's get into it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first ever episode of Life Issues. Title pending, at least I think so. All right, today I'm joined by my friends and technically guest, one Rye Guy, who I know you guys miss / haven't seen in a very long time. Rye Guy, how you been?
I'm doing great. I'm doing better than your audio, it seems, because you're cutting in and out like crazy.
Yes, the Fire Nation likes to ruin things. I am aware.
Oh, and now that I binge watched Avatar a few weeks ago with my fiance, now I can say I understand that reference.
Well, actually, no. When I say the Fire Nation fucking shit up, I'm referring to the coronavirus. Oh no, we just got demonetized. Yeah, fuck you.
Oh no, all 19 of the COVIDs.
My favorite part about this whole thing is that one of the dumbest things that they started saying, and they always lie about, is that, well, we already cured 18 other versions. Like, bitch, no, we didn't. There weren't 18 other COVIDs. It's a designation number.
Yep, it's actually designation on the year when the infection was discovered, because it was 2019 when it first came out. It's the reason why it's called 19.
Yeah, it's the same when we do with hurricanes. We call them by alphabet. So if a hurricane is called Deborah, that means there was 3 other motherfuckers who got in before Deborah came in. By the time Deborah got there, there was none but used condoms and alcohol everywhere. And of course, the second person, the only man to ever pull off being a weeaboo and somehow not being a stereotype at the same time, a one Fusion 689, or Foo for short.
Hello.
Hi, Foo.
Hello.
Yeah, he's become the king of the I'm gonna do an intro but not really brigade.
If Foo ever becomes a very lovely young lady who just goes around making everybody love him and her, and we'd all just be like, "Oh, why, Foo?"
Yeah.
Oh, trust me. My cousin and I have a list. What names should we not name our kids? And if one of us do, we all have to pitch in for therapy.
That's actually not the first time I've heard about something like that. I went to school with a girl whose last name is Yankaway. I don't know if they do that in her family, but they should. No, I'm totally serious. Like, I knew before I left grade school, she's gonna get married really, really fast. And if she gets a divorce, she's not leaving that name behind.
Yeah.
I grew up knowing a Harrison Butts the Third.
And when I say Yankaway, it's actually spelled how you think, by the way.
That's good. There's no subtlety to it.
Nope. So. Not even a little bit. All right. So what we're going to do on Life Issues is one person, usually me, is going to tell you guys and regale you with a life story that he A, regrets, or is just a fucked up situation. Basically, if you know why Kurt Ritchie is even YouTube famous, you know where to go. Except I don't have crippling depression, think about killing myself, and, my friends don't inherently think I'm an asshole. Well, the best way I've been described is, I wish he would stop saying funny shit sometimes, but he's nice, which seems very accurate. So, I'm going to take you back in time to the year 2008 and the place Presidential Towers. Don't let that name fool you. A president has never lived in there or owned it. It was a wonderful location. Nothing but 50 or 40-ish floors of residence, sushi bars, built-in grocery store, and for some odd reason, a motherfucking McDonald's. Because that's what every apartment complex needs, a built-in McDonald's.
I mean, they got to get something to fuel, if they're going up all those goddamn stairs.
You really think rich white people use the stairs?
Can I just have a reason for this to shit?
Yes, you can. But just keep in mind, this is downtown Chicago. The Gatorade training facility or experimentation facility is in the building next to mine at the top floor. I could literally see people testing Gatorade. It was kind of a interesting experience, to say the least.
The fuck do you test Gatorade?
You strap them up with a bunch of things on their body, arm, and joints, and someone in a white lab coat, I shit you not, occasionally messes with some type of computer whilst they run on a treadmill.
So the commercials where they're like sweating
that's
green,
what I used to tell people.
purple,
Like,
that's
it's actually
legit.
kind of like that. I was genuinely thinking, did they film that commercial in that room? But I digress.
Well then.
I soon learned, because of various things I don't really need to get into, that, for lack of a better term, college was going to temporarily be a oyster for me, so I could experiment and do all types of things that other people claim that they're doing for the purpose of experiment, but they just don't want to admit to themselves they're a whole bag, but in a scholastic manner. So one of the first places I was tricked into going to, and I use that term very accurately, was the Art Institute of Chicago, or the Art Institute Chicago branch, right? And
Yeah.
for those who don't know, eventually, much like the entire Argosy University private college network, they got roped into some fucked up shit because they were doing fucked up shit behind the scenes that was completely and totally illegal, and also can get their license revoked. However, I just happened to show up a few years before this happened. Now, I will regale you.
We are speaking with the catalyst here. Everybody shut up.
Basically. And I will inherently get into that school in particular on a later date. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people that think, well, if college doesn't go exactly my way, when I planned it, how I planned it, even though I couldn't have possibly planned for future life events that happened that were out of my control, everybody sucked except me. Nah, it's not one of those situations. It was literally they were doing things administratively that trickled down to the students that they were not supposed to be doing. But that's another story, like I said. But however, the dormitories were presidential towers because they didn't want to make or find their own fucking dorms. Now, besides these dorms being extremely overpriced for the little space you get, $2,000 for a fucking studio, that's actually a pretty common / fair-ish price if you're gonna live downtown. Unlike New York City. So, a lot of the students got to know each other, and as well as the locals within the area. I got to know my roommate to an extent by the name of, I shit you not, Rashid Chapeyama. He is African. He is imported African.
He's like all the way African.
Yes, he's imported African. His native tongue is called Chichewa, if I'm saying it correctly. And a friend of mine apparently had a weed strain that had his name, or maybe it was a fluke, but it was before I met him. He called his weed Chapeyama, and later on, a few years later, I met a dude whose last name is Chapeyama. So, yeah, worthless information. Anyways, however, he did have one particular friend who I will describe as, for lack of a better term, the stereotypical dumb blonde, except she dyed her hair. Now,
like dyed it blonde or
no,
dyed
she
it
was
from
blonde, but she would
else?
dye it other colors.
Oh, so artificial intelligence then.
Something like that. Now, normally with the way these things work, because the internet is the internet, and famous people say, I don't want to spread any hatred, which I always thought was the dumbest shit ever. Because one, when celebrities get mad at somebody, they tag their ass on Twitter. Two, they bitch and moan about them when they're in a talk show. So it feels odd and weird when I see, well, for lack of a better term, people who don't even count on the D list on Instagram and social media saying, I don't want to spread any hatred. Like, motherfucker, if they're talking shit about you on your channel, no, not even hiding, what's the problem with you flexing on them? I'm not saying play the petty flame war game. I'm saying explain why you're right there wrong, because you can do that last I checked. So yeah, nobody's safe from me. They don't need to be safe from me. It was a long time ago, and if they're really bothered by this, they ain't said shit in close to, if not over a decade at this point. So I feel no remorse. It's an old story. If they feel bad about it, hey, they felt bad about it. I felt bad about it, and technically I ain't do shit wrong. Anyways, all right, now this girl's name was Carolyn, but I kept forgetting it because I kept calling her Marcy. You know why? Because she looked like Marcy from, what's that name of that show, right, guy?
Oh, Married with Children?
Yes. She
Marcy
looked
Darcy?
Like, she looked like she would be her daughter or her if she was 30 years younger. You know? And I learned very quickly that There's a difference between stupid and delusional. And she was somehow, depending on the subject matter, both. However, because I'm me, I don't inherently think someone being stupid means that they are some disease-ridden animal. I look at stupid the same way I look at a baby. You gotta crawl before you can walk. You don't start off smart, you become smart. And most smart people, if you actually know smart people, they're smart in a few subject matters. They're not smart in all things. Basically, I was raised humble. And if I wasn't humble, I got humbled. Verbally or physically. That's right, I had old school parents and I didn't shoot up a fucking school because of it. I hate when people say, oh, they shut up a school because they got beat as a child. Like, fuck you. So annoying. Anyways, so what happened was, and this is as genuine as I could put it. One day, I borrowed a spatula from her. An act I would soon learn to regret.
Oh man, that a spatula borrowing is a fucking connection of trust. There's Zach's.
Yeah, because she knows what floor I live on. I know what floor she lives on. She's been in my room. I've been in her room. We didn't break each other's shit. And when I found somebody's stuff who I didn't know, she helped me return it to him. So I borrowed the spatula about 3 or 4 days. Apparently, I didn't know that I was only supposed to borrow it for 2. So I returned the spatula. No harm, no foul. However, later on, I find out that in the school library, they have comic books. Now, at this point in time, I haven't set foot in a comic book store in probably close to 15 years. Or maybe just 10 years.
Oh, missing out, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know this, So, first thing that happens is, quite literally, I get a stack, and instead of renting them out, I'm like, haha, that's right. You motherfuckers don't realize that I can alternate between slow reading and speed reading. So I decide, you know what? I'm going to go get 6 or 7 comic books, entire volumes, that single issue shit don't cut into the library. And I'm going to just read these bitches. And I found a table in front of a glass window, which means everyone walking into this building and out of this building can see me reading it. Not because I cared about the glass window, I just saw the table. And guess who's sitting on the other side of the table? That's right, it's
Madam
Marcy.
Spatula herself?
Yes, it's Marcy, aka Carolyn herself. I don't say anything because it's a library, right? So I started reading the books and I read Planet Hulk. Only to find out a few years later that there would be a Planet Hulk movie. But
yeah, that wasn't,
Yeah, it wasn't that.
yeah, the comic was way better. However, I understood the reasoning. Different licensing, different places, all that shit.
Yeah, like it wasn't an absolute like cinematic abortion, but like, yeah.
They did a lot of editing. Basically, it could have been 2 or 3 part movie series. They only made it 1. And then there's bits and pieces of it referenced and shown in Thor Ragnarok, but that's another story for another time. Planet Hulk is old. So, I just start reading. I wave at her something, don't say shit. She goes back to reading her book. Right? She leaves at some point. I don't give a shit. I'm reading. Come to find out from my ex-roommate at the time, because Rashid got a room transfer. Or no, he moved out of the building or something because he found out that if you stay here all 4 years, you basically paid for almost 2 full semesters because the rent was so high, right? But he would still visit the building. I wasn't gonna say shit. I don't even really think it was considered sneaking in at that point. Yada yada. So he tells me him and his buddy Devin are in my room and we're playing either Resident Evil 5 because that shit had just come out and it was fire, despite it not feeling like a Resident Evil game. And Devin drops on me, I know who you got a crush on. I was like, Devin, we don't hang out with the same people, so any girl in this school I do, like, I don't think you would know. You like Carolyn. It's like, who is Carolyn? So then Rashid chops in and says, oh, Marcy. He's like, no, I don't. I borrowed a spatula from her. That was it. I was like, oh, dude, man. Yeah. She's been going around telling people you're stalking her. I was like, nah, she wouldn't do that. Dude, I've only seen her like 5 times total.
Oh no, the stalking accusations. I'm
And she's telling my
intimately
guy
familiar.
friends. She's telling my guy friends this shit. That's like saying, hi, I want to A, look stupid, or B, use you guys to try to confirm if he's actually stalking me. Like, first off, motherfucker, you don't know? So then I tell him, like, no, listen. I borrowed a spatula from her. And the only other time I even went to her room, which she was doing some dumb shit because she knew she was on the other side of the door and I could hear her. I had some of my friends, like, just chill with me because their place had burnt down and they were a little buzzed. And they were just chilling until they could crash somewhere. Because even though Rashida moved out, there was like a couple weeks time frame where I didn't have a roommate. And, well, security was very lax when it came to people sleeping over. These are not women that I had sex with. I just want to clarify. They were buzzed. It was only that one night. And we basically talked about the house, insurance, all this shit, blah, 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 blah. They really spent most of the night playing video games and using my phone to try to call people and whatnot. Family members and shit. Right? But one of them got into his guitar because Rashid hadn't moved out all the way yet. So he still had a box of shit there. Right? And I told him, and I wanted to move it so it didn't get fucked with. But I knew he might come back when I'm not there. So I was going to go to her room because I didn't have her number to tell her point blank fucking, whatchamacallit. Hey, listen, tell Rashid when you see him again, because I don't have his number and I don't have him on Facebook yet at this point, that if he's looking for his musical shit, I moved it to a different location. Because there's this unwritten rule, or really it's just a philosophy. When you have a roommate, you don't go in their shit. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So if I put his guitar in my closet for safekeeping while Deborah's drunk sister, I don't remember her sister's name, but I know Deborah, is getting splayed out on my bed and laughing, ha, I'm sleeping in your bed. I was like, how the fuck are you this drunk? Did you show up this way? Well, yeah, she kind of did. And when I went to get water in the fridge, I didn't know that the pitcher was actually vodka. I was like, yeah, she ain't about to leave here. So, you know, I basically slept on the floor / in a chair combination. And one slept in my bed and the other slept in what was Rashid's bed or old bed. I can't remember because he didn't stay there for the summer. He went back home for the summer, so he left a lot of shit there. Or either when he was in the middle of moving into whatever apartment he went into, he left some shit there and he came and got it back in pieces, which is understandable. Rashid was a pretty skinny guy, you know, like barely 110 pounds soaking wet. So anyways, next thing I heard the door is, oh, look, it's him. Wait, don't answer. It's like, I feel like you know I can hear you. But I was like, no, fucking, I ain't playing no games. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe they're in there drunk. I don't know. So I leave, right? Now, at some point in time, I still don't know about the shit's going on, but I call myself wanting to clear up fucking the issue before winter break starts up of me supposedly stalking her. Because you got to remember, when I found this out, it was weeks and weeks and weeks after the whole drunk not letting me in the door incident bullshit, right? So I go up to that room again. And right before I knock on the door, I hear crunch. The fuck? So I look down. Oh, shit. Yo, somebody Secret Santa'd her and I just crushed her Christmas gift.
Oh.
Yeah. So obviously, even if I'm not in a doghouse, I might end up in the principal's office. Because this can be interpreted so many ways. So I'm just like, and there's another guy at the end of the hall watching me as he goes in his room. I was like, yo, I don't know if I broke it, but hey, I know her personally. We go to the same school. I'm going to give it to her. And he's just like, good luck, bro. I wanted to clarify I wasn't like stalking and shit, but he just realized, oh shit, did you just break a Christmas gift for a girl? Yeah, good luck, man. Now there's no name on this shit at all. I don't know what's in it, right? But I come downstairs and I see the mail lady. Now here's a fun fact people don't realize because they get a little bit confused by UPS packages and Amazon packages. Yeah, we're actually not putting your packages in your mailbox because it's a felony. What happens is that other companies can do shipments for Amazon, for FedEx, for UPS. And if they go through USPS, USPS can take that package, despite who it came from, and put it in your mailbox, right? So I see the lady who's doing the mail for that building. The whole building has one centralized mail location, as most complexes do. And I say, hey, look, this goes to such and such room. He's like, okay, I'll put it in. I was like, okay, thanks. Because I can't go do that. So I was like, well, that saves me some time and trouble. Might as well go get me some sushi or go grocery shopping right now. Do. And I see her on the escalator. Well, I think I see her, but I don't say anything. Right? So, speed forward to 2 days before winter break, or about a week before winter break starts in. Because you know how it is. If you're going to send to somebody and you in school, you got to do that shit way early because winter break stuff. And I see her going into a room as I'm leaving the building. I was like, hey, yo, was your Christmas present broke or something? I accidentally stepped on it. And what was it? Keyword there. What was it? What was it? Implying I don't know what the fuck that gift is. Right? So here's the thing. She looks at me dead ass and says, ew, squirt tastes nasty. Completely unrelated to the fucking story. She was drinking a squirt. I don't know what the fuck she's telling me that shit. And she says, wait, how did you get in my mailbox? It's like, I didn't put it in your mailbox. Well, what was it? It's like, what do you mean, what was it? I'm asking you, what was it? It's like, you did this. It's like, no, I didn't. Listen to what I said. I don't know what it was, and I'm asking you what it was. Right? And she just starts trying to accuse me of doing this. Like, look, listen, not to explain it in a serious tone, which, you know, that means I am 90% of the way to getting shot by a cop if she called one. I was like, look, I stepped on it and I think I broke it. I was trying to find you because I don't know, and I think I might have broken it. I don't know what it was. I was going to give it to Rashid because he knows where you are or what the fuck you was doing, since you're trying to play the not open the door game when I was coming to go tell you about one of his guitar or something. And that's when I stepped on it. They put it directly on the ground, and look how tall I am. Now, I'm not 6 foot at the time. I'm like 5'9". 5'9" and a half ish at best. But that package on the ground was barely 4 inches standing up. It was more long and wide than tall. So I told her, I was like, listen, I don't know what was. Like, well, I don't know. I thought someone was trying to kill me. I was like, what? Has someone ever tried to kill you? I mean, no. What was it? I mean, it was like some white balls or something. And I just looked at it and threw it away. It's like, so someone Secret Santed you. I thought I broke it, but you actually threw away their gift. What was it? It's like, did you not hear me say I didn't do it? I stepped on it. The reason it was in your mailbox, which memory serves, felony if I put something in your mailbox, was because I gave it to the mail lady because it still was addressed to you and she put it in there. I don't actually know what it was. Okay, sorry. So then, that's why Rashid and Duran started telling me, oh yeah, she totally thinks you're stalking her. It's like, wait. She thinks I'm stalking her because she got an anonymous Santa gift and I asked her what it was, not did she get it from me. So then Rashid tells me, like, I think it was Rashid Duran's like, I was like, bro, you know she's weird and stupid, right? It's like, that's not really my point, though. The end.
Oh, that was the end of the story.
Yeah,
okay.
We never found out if her dumbass genuinely understood. Not only was I not stalking her, but she threw away a gift someone gave her that was most likely some form of candy. Well, I thought it was mothballs. You didn't think it was mothballs. No one's gonna gift wrap you mothballs.
I was gonna get clarification on that. So it was just straight up just white balls, like mothballs or something like that. Like
No. Because first off, mothballs have a smell to them, Secondly, they come in a specific type of packaging. Someone gave her some form of white candy or jawbreaker, and she just threw it away and decided I'm the one who brought it out.
So I think I got a little confused on the timeline here. Are you saying that it was because of that Secret Santa incident that she thought you were stalking her, or that you went?
Oh yeah,
you already had found out that she thought you were stalking her, and you went to talk to her about it. And
Let me go ahead and clarify.
I think it started with the library thing because they happened to sit down at the same table when he was reading a bunch of comic books.
Yeah, exactly.
In silence, not talking to her, and she interpreted that he had a crush on her.
No, I didn't say crush. I said stalking. There's a difference. If you thought I had a crush on her, first of all, I would be less offended, and I wouldn't be telling this story. I would just think, it's not worth mentioning. There's a rule of physics that mandates that if you're the black guy and you're funny in front of the white girl, you're A, trying to get ass, or B, you're trying to see if you can smash, which neither was the case. In fact, I barely ever made a joke in front of her. You got to remember, my stand-up career was baby spanking new at this point in time. I had only done maybe 12 shows. I was getting like 400, which apparently I'm told at this point is not even standard or something. It's not really clear what the standard is, at least from what I can find on Google. And I was getting 400, and as a new guy, especially someone who didn't have a job at the time, that was Gucci for me. But basically, okay, so there's two sequence of events y'all need to remember. There's what I find out, and there's how she thinks. We don't know how she thinks, thank God. So whatever her timeline is not going to inherently match mine. But let me just somewhat clarify. Okay, so the first thing that happened was I read books in the library. She's there. Second thing that happened is fucking the incident about the spatula. Third thing that happened is, and this is where it's either or, because hey, my memory's a little hazy from that time. Either I went to her to try to clarify and got the whole, hey, just don't answer, he bullshit, like I've ever just randomly walked up into or around her room at all. And fucking, or it's them telling me, yo, she told us that you're stalking her. It's like, are you fucking serious? Which leads into me trying to find her at a later date. And that's when, I accidentally fucked up the Christmas stuff, which then leads me to talking to her in person. So basically, 1 through 3 is fine. 4 and 5 is a little bit interchangeable / hazy. And then the rest of the story follows out. Now, the second chain of events is, however, her dumbass perceived shit, which I'm not going to pretend I even want to comprehend.
Okay, I got you. For a minute, I might have just misheard something you said. I thought you had said that after the Christmas thing, you were like, and that's why she thinks I'm stalking her. I might have just misheard something.
No, I didn't tell it to you in order because the sequence of events for me didn't happen in order. So.
All right, gotcha.
My bad. So yeah, questions?
I'm gonna guess that you haven't had any further interactions with this Marcy individual.
Hell the fuck no. And even if I did, it would literally I did. I had 3 interactions, but I don't know if they count as interactions. Okay, so here's what happened. I just see Rashid in the elevator going to school, right? We go in the elevator. She runs up and stops it, and he just goes. I was like, the fuck? You don't get to do that. I do that. But of course, I can't ask why the fuck you mad at her or some shit anyway. It's like, hey, I found you. It's like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? It's like, hey, you need to call me. It's like, okay, like, what time, or is there a special reason? It's like, yeah, there's some stuff going down, blah, 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 blah. She sees me, quickly looks back at him like I wasn't there. And I'm just like, man, if this bitch don't shut the fuck up. Obviously, I'm thinking this, as we have already discussed. I have not actually called any women that I know a bitch. And the one time I did call a woman a bitch, she was verbally harassing me in the middle of a restaurant. I didn't even know who the fuck she was. So yeah, I'll admit to thinking it, but saying it, nah, that's a rarity for me. Anyways, and he's like, yeah, okay, no problem. You know, I have been having some phone problems, but you know, it might just be long distance issues. I don't actually own my phone number. You know, I'm still on my parents' plan. It's pretty good coverage. Stop and think about it. And she gets out of it and says, okay, just make sure you call me. Like, and he's like, so I'm like, so what is your problem with her? Dude, she's just fucking weird, man. It's like, I feel like that's his way of saying he knows her thinking I was stalking her was wrong. Or either he found out, holy shit, she is a dumb blonde stereotype. It also doesn't help that she's a fashion/art student. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting up here and saying just because you're an art student or a fashion student, you're dumb. But there was a study done, and it took almost 15 years to be verified, or either it was just in the finished phase and needed to be verified, that basically showed that fashion students and art students have a lower education information retention rate than most other forms of college students. Basically, it was heavily implying they're dumber. But to be fair, you know, that's one of those things that comes with a caveat. So I never truly bothered with it. But the whole biggest issue I have with her is that she's a living stereotype, and I don't even think she fucking cares. Yeah, and he just said, "Oh, dude, she's just so weird, man. I don't want to deal with her." It's like, this is kind of strange. Like, you are a African, and you're dealing with a stereotypical rich white girl who probably led a life of privilege. I'm not gonna assume. You know, I didn't assume she was a stereotype. I found out the hard way she was a stereotype. And you are responding to her the same way I've seen girls respond to desperate men who can't admit that they're trying to stalk or obsess over them. Fascinating. You learn so much growing up in the city. So, and every other interaction was similar. Oh, here's Rashid. Hey, Rashid, call me something, blah, blah, blah. And then it's not like they were fuck buddies or anything, just so we're clear. You know?
All right.
Yeah, and first off, I thought she fucking hated me because one time, me, her, and two other people went to a party, and she and someone else got drunk, and she kept needing to get extra attention and be coddled. And I didn't like the idea that she was doing that, but apparently a lot of people treat it as, oh, this is standard affair for a girl who's going out at night, who just came from a party and is a little buzzed. People feel how they feel about it. I think I might have overreacted. But to be fair, my problem wasn't that she needed extra attention. It was how much time got consumed by her extra attention. But, you know, it's a long time ago. Hey, look, they know me after, and this was like the first month that they knew me. So obviously, since nobody cut ties with me and shit like that, you know, they eventually got over me feeling or acting that way, or they realized it was a one-time situation. That being said, hey, Fu, you want to comment at some point?
Man, people are crazy. What else do you need me to say? I ain't one of them.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was kind of hoping that I could get some solace in the fact that I'm not the only person who understands I didn't do anything. Don't get me wrong. There are some situations where I fucked up, but usually when I fuck up, it's a genuine mistake, as in I didn't know this was a button or a trigger for someone, and it's blatantly obvious. I ain't try to do that shit on purpose.
Man, like, and it sucks because I can tell you from experience, like, once you have like the stigma of the accusation of being, you know, stalkery material, whatever, then like, oh, that shit doesn't go away.
Well, I mean, I got lucky. She was not really in my life. She wasn't on my social media. Oh, wait, no, she was, but I remember blacklisting her the minute I found out she was going around telling people I was fucking stalking her. Also, let me just point out to you people who think someone's stalking you, why the fuck are they on your social media still?
Yeah, no, here's the thing. I've known people who were stalked, and this is because I live in suburban white area. Like, their dad worked for the city hall, and so literally the police chief's like, yo, contact me if this shit happens to you. I will get up the restraining order. And that shit happened fast for that guy. And trust
Yeah.
me, that was insane.
Yeah. You know, if there's one thing Rob Blagojevich did do that wasn't fucked up, it was the restraining order shit. But at the same time, he waited till somebody got brutally murdered first, after she told everyone, including police officers, hey, there's a guy who wants to brutally murder me and he knows where I live. And he brutally murdered her. Funny how fast that bill got put in the law because it was a white lady, but you know, not even just George Floyd, but you know, depending on your skin tone and how close you are to a jar of Nutella, fuck it, I don't feel like doing shit today. Come back next millennium. So yeah, thus ends our first episode of Life Issues. Thanks for listening, and remember, kids, don't ever fucking mean it or even joke about saying Zax is stalking you. Fuck you. Thank you and good night.
This is a call for help, everybody.